So, this is another topic. Another topic that comes to mind when it comes to dating. What's appropriate to talk about on the first date? So, let's say you go to dinner with somebody really hot, you know, younger, which is what you like. I'm not looking for silver foxes. I ran across something. This is a sidebar. I ran across something on the internet about silver foxes giving single women advice on dating. What did I do? I scrolled. Why? Because I don't want a silver fox. So why would I take advice from one? So I look at it this way. I date younger now. I think younger is a good match for me based on where I am in my life. Yeah, I'm 53, going on 54. But younger guys tend to respond to me a certain way. So why I don't have any kids, I don't have any grandkids. I don't have the life of the typical 53-year-old person. So I think they see that, they sense your youthful energy. You're also in entertainment. So that leaves the door open for you to meet people who are more like you, artists and such. And I think that's really seriously the right path. I think that's where I've been led on to this path. So I could date some people who are probably more like me than not. So what's appropriate to talk about? Let's say, conversation is going well, and then suddenly your date wants to ask about your dating past. What's appropriate? I would simply try to keep it positive. Never badmouth exes. Here's a wonderful response. Listen, I wouldn't tell people to follow my advice if 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 you don't want to, of course. Of course not. Never take advice if you don't want to take advice from someone. But here's the important part. I would tell my date, and you can take this, you can use this in your own lives if you want to. We're here, and I'm really interested in just focusing on the present. I don't really think it's appropriate on the first date to talk about the past because I don't want to give any of my energy to the past. I'd rather share this moment with you and have wonderful memories of this date someday, perhaps. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to say anything, give a big speech on why you don't want to divulge information about your past at that moment. But the first date is not the time and the place. So you're getting like the general picture here. You don't want to talk about past on your first date. I think it's good to just stay present. Stay present, and that's what I would say to the date. I prefer to stay present. You can just make sure that he understands that it's not about you being closed off or not wanting to share. You're just so excited to date again. You'd rather just stay in the present. Yeah, because I think sometimes people go into too much detail on the first date and it's not clear. It's not clear, if they're over that situation or not. I stay away from talking about past situations on first dates. I don't think it's healthy. I really don't. And you give up too much information. You give up too much ground. I wouldn't give the past that kind of play in my present life. You never let people live rent free in your head. And please don't take them on your dates with you by talking about that. So I would definitely refrain from talking too much about the past. I would prefer to stay in the present. And that's what I would say to my date. I would love to just have great memories of a first date after not dating for a while. I would love to just keep it present, keep myself in the present. And someday, if you become closer to the person or you have more dates where you all are going into a relationship, then maybe you can talk about it then. But we aren't even clear if we're going to see each other again. So why even bring up past? I always wonder about that. When people are just starting out dating, you don't even know if you're going to be around. You have no idea if you are to be proper. If you have no idea if you're even going to get a second date with this gal. So why do you want to talk about her exes? It just seems a little off. So I wouldn't want to bring that up. And that's a bit of advice for guys if they're going to date Kelly. Famous guys too. Like I wouldn't want to talk about the past on the first date. I think you want to keep it fun and light and interesting. You want to win her over. So I'm giving you a cheat and giving cheats. You want to win me over. You don't want me thinking about an ex or even getting mad and angry and talking about things the ex did or didn't do. I think it's just good to leave all that out of your first date. Also, you don't want to talk about family and if there are any rifts or any issues that are unresolved. You want to keep it positive. It's almost like when you go on a job interview. You should always be mindful of how you speak about others because the person in front of you would assume naturally that if something doesn't go the way you wanted to go with them, that you'd badmouth them. So be classy, be classy. You don't have to be fake. You don't have to lie, but just be general. If someone says, "Oh, so what kind of family do you come from?" Don't start talking about they stole your mail, they hid your inheritance. You're gonna run your dates away. Don't do that. You should be very positive. Oh, don't have to lie. I come from a family with one sibling, and I have, it's me and my mom. So I was raised, sort of like an only child. If you were, you can say that. This is just an example of what to say. You don't go into specifics. Oh yeah, so you and your family close. So you'll say, "Oh my mom and I are very close." Yeah, and tell the truth. Yes, I'm very close to my mom. What about you? Don't go if you don't want to talk about the other people in your family. Just simply say, "Oh yeah, my mom and I are really close. What about you?" So then engage him because it'll move the conversation along instead of going, "Well, because this is what women do. Well, I don't want to have to go into this or nothing, but like my so and so, my brother is like mentally ill, and let me tell you what he did. Like, don't, you don't want to do that on a date. You want to stay positive, put your best foot forward. There could be underlying issues that you need to deal with, so this doesn't come up on your dates. Like, I've never divulged much information on first dates or at all if I'm dating a person. I've been accused of not talking about my past or not talking about family issues. Most people wouldn't even know if you have any. Why? Because I don't think it makes sense to bring all of that on a first date with you or any date. Because this is supposed to be fun, entertainment. People forget that. It's recreation for a lot of people dating. Not everyone is dating to get married, which is a whole other issue. So I'm not assuming that you want me to unload all of my baggage on you or everything that's ever happened to me on the first date or on any date. I see it as a breath of fresh air. It's a new beginning. You don't want to ruin it with negativity. So, it's not a red flag if you don't get along with somebody in your family. That doesn't mean you need to tell your date that right then and there. There are people who don't get along with family members, perhaps some family members. That doesn't mean you're the problem. It just means some people are dealt, a bad hand when it comes to family. I just believe it's not your job to badmouth or trash anybody on your date. This is your date. So your date is about venting. It should be about fun. It should be about you sharing whatever you want to share, but hopefully you'll keep in mind that whatever you share is a reflection of you. So you want to share positive experiences. You don't want to show up as this negative person, negative Natalie, or berating Betty, or somebody who's like judgmental Judy. So you want to be a person who is nice to be around, accommodating, with boundaries, not hostile, not seemingly at war. And that's why a lot of times people want you to be agitated. Honestly, that's why they want you to be agitated. People who you may be at odds with, so that you exhibit odd behaviors when you finally are able to go out on a date. Then you look like a PTSD victim or somebody with Tourette's or twitching or something, all because of the things you've gone through. So it's best to try to meditate, try to purge yourself of all negativity, and then go out on a date. Get yourself ready mentally to go out on a date. I'm ready to go out on a date. Why did I make this video? Simply to let everyone know that I'm going to have a bunch of fun. So, whatever was done, it certainly isn't going to circumvent me, Kelly Delon Nuance, from having fun. That's the whole point of socializing. socially connecting with healthier people. It requires you to be healthy, right? That it requires you to be a